we've got the guy at the head of all this. Trump has become bored with Iran. He said it. He said it outright. And I mean, Matt, you look at this and you're like, and we can both critique the conduct of the Iraq War at great length, but there was never a day where George W. Bush said, "I'm bored of all this. I don't want to pay attention to this anymore." A war that Trump has started for zero strategic predicates at all beyond his sort of they've got a nuke tomorrow fantasy. How do you think this reflects where we are in the international scene right now? I mean, you and I both talk to people overseas, and the nervousness about not having that core of American intent about a peaceful world seems to be something that's creeping up. I don't think this helps a whole lot with Trump just overtly saying, "I'm bored now." It's like, I've taken my toys and broken them.
Well, yeah, and he's bored after. I mean, it's like a kid that goes in and screws up, whatever he screws up, and then he's like, "I'm bored of it because I don't want to have to take, I don't want to take responsibility for what I've done, so I want to move on." And obviously, you've seen all the numbers, Rick, and how the foreign countries see us today, which is at a low point. The only time it matched this point was during the first Trump administration, that how low it is, the reflection of us. Right. And the idea that he has we know what he thinks about NATO and we know all of that, but he has there's nothing in his demeanor that says, I need allies. In a global, economy, and a global, his decisions he makes on the economy, decisions he makes on international relations, the decisions he makes on the military, there's not an ounce in him that says, maybe I should build a coalition of allies to do this.
Yeah. And of course, the political impact of this, now you've got Rubio. The war is over. The war is over. I wonder, there was a fraction of the Republican base that's very opposed to this war. There's a larger fraction, I think, that have been sort of inculcated in the Iran is going to have a nuclear weapon any minute now, we have to stop it thing. I wonder if all the parts of the MAGA coalition don't come out of this unhappy, you end up with a war that's not really over. It's going to continue. It's going to grind on Iran's schedule. Iran can still control the Strait of Hormuz. And basically we dismantled the JCPOA, which ended up, I was wrong about it when it started. It ended up keeping Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. I mean, we're really going to unfold like the worst of all possible worlds here.
Well, yeah, and we've unfortunately we've empowered the most extreme elements in Iran, right? Yeah. So it's not like we remove somebody and then they're surrounded by moderates. It's the most extreme elements, and now all the stories that they tell about the United States, they have some factual basis for the things they can say now, which is why terrorism, the rise of terrorism, radicalization, all of that. That it's increased the likelihood that more people through Iran is going to radicalize other people around the world. And that's what's amazing about this. And Iran is more, Trump won't admit this, but Iran today is more powerful in its ability to influence other actors than it was before this.
I think that's 100% true. And ironically, Trump is now even fighting with Netanyahu, who called him effing crazy. He called Netanyahu effing crazy. And I was like, for a moment, I thought, is Trump making some like third dimensional chess play to get the Tucker vote back? And I don't think it is. I think he's just as frustrated as possible.
I think what he realized, he played follow the leader with Netanyahu on this Iran thing. Obviously, he came to the White House and did all this whole thing, convinced Trump that this was going to be an easy peasy deal or whatever it is Netanyahu wanted to do in this course of this. Trump has now realized it's a complete disaster. It's not going away. He's lost a part of his coalition. He's obviously lost independent voters who are completely opposed to this. The price of gas is not going to be probably lower than $4 for 2 years from what everybody's prediction. And so, Trump can't look in the mirror and say, "Oh man, I screwed up." Right? Trump is incapable of doing that. And so now it's like it's Netanyahu's fault that he made me listen to him.
You know, and I think people still underestimate, and you and I both painfully learned this lesson back in 2006 when gas prices were ticking up, ticking up, ticking up. I remember sitting in a briefing over at POS in Alexandria, watching the slides go by, and I'm like, wait. You're telling me that the gas price issue alone has knocked 8 points off the president's approval? And given that we're not going to see an end to this $4 gas around the country for a long time, there's really no like causal thing. Nothing's going to break the pattern of where Trump is right now. And so I think that pretending the war is over, when the one symptom of the war that everybody really hates, they hate being at war, but they really hate the gas cost. They really hate the gas prices.
You know what's what's interesting about that is, and I had the same, obviously looked at the data in 2006 and during Biden and all of that. Yeah. What's interesting, what's more visceral about gas than actually even groceries, even groceries. I mean, obviously people's price increases on inflation on groceries has impacted them and all of that. But the thing about gas is every single human being is like, you go through the grocery line and you know your bills more, but you don't like, you can watch it tick up like the price of rice or the price of ground beef.
Sure. Yeah.
Price of gas, you put it in the pump and you watch that thing, you watch the deal.
It's unspinnable, right?
And every time you do it once a week or once every 10 days or whenever you're doing it, and you're driving around gas stations and you see it, just today it went up to $4.29. That is so visceral.
Yeah. I always joke, it's like the unspendable number. No matter how MAGA you are, no matter how much of a true believer in Donald Trump you are, when you're sitting there at that gas pump and it says $4.10 a gallon, you cannot say, "Oh, it's $2." You can't. There's just no universe where anyone can imagine that hard. And there's a lot of fantasy life over there, but no one can imagine that sort of moment. They can't pretend it's not there. They can't.